What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. It's your boy, The Real ABD, and today I'll be showing you how to create a snowing overlay on your pictures in Adobe Photoshop. Let's go. Alright, welcome to Adobe Photoshop. The car we're practicing on today is a Lamborghini Performante that I shot a few months back. That is factory paint. It's a $30,000 upgrade, but we'll leave that for another day. We're going to be doing an 8-step overlay for the snow. So altogether it's 8 steps. It's fairly easy, to be honest, but if you have any questions, do comment or DM me. But let's get the party started. You're going to click on that bottom right, there's a square, that's for a new layer. You click on it, you're going to paint it white. After that, we're going to filters. And the first step is to add some noise. And you're going to make sure Gaussian is checked off and you maximize it. Second step, you go back into filter, noise, Gaussian blur. Now for the Gaussian blur, I'm just going to turn it up ever so slightly. Like this is our base. So we are going to be adding more layers. Now we're going to go back into filter, blur, and motion blur. Again, this all depends on how fast of a snowfall you'd like and what angle, but this is what I'm going to go with here. I'm going to leave that distance at 5 and then probably right there and click OK. Now for the fun part. I know it looks like a huge mess, but the next step will kind of make it more clear. We're going to go into image, adjust, levels. We're going to go to the blacks. I'm going to pull them to the right. Now again, all depends on how much snow you'd like, but I'm going to put it all the way somewhere there. Yeah, it looks right. Perfect. Hit OK. And then we're going to transform it. So basically just double it the size of your image or triple it depending on how big of a snowflake you'd like. I think I might come back and look at this again, readjust this layer size, but I'll hit enter. So what we want to do is we want to go to layer mode and change it to screen, and there you have it. You have snow. Now those are too tiny. I wanted more of a winter effect, so I think I'm going to readjust it, make it a little bit bigger. And that looks about right. Perfect. Now we're gonna redo the same thing. So we're gonna create a new layer. We're gonna paint it white. We're gonna go into filter, and what we're gonna do is noise, add noise, and this time just click OK. Same settings for the noise, blur, Gaussian blur, and we're gonna turn up the blur. So the second layer, that overlay that we're making, is kind of for the snowfall that's closest to the camera. So we want to have more of a blur. And then we're going to go back into filter, blur, and then into motion blur. I'm going to turn up the motion just a bit as well. And then go back into image, adjust, levels, and then pull your blacks to the right. I get it right there. I don't want too much at the front, so I'm gonna, right, yeah, that looks good. Now this one, you're really gonna blow it up. We're gonna go into transform, grab a corner of our layer, and just pull it right out. I'm gonna make sure it's bigger than the last one, and change the layer mode to screen. Perfect. Now let me zoom in and show you guys what we have. So if you zoom in, you have the bigger flakes. I might make it even bigger actually. Yeah, that's better. All right, so we've created 2 layers. First one is our base, second one is for the snowflakes which are closer to the camera. And then I think that's pretty good for an overlay. Looks pretty snowy. But I wanted to use the same technique and create more of a dynamic winter effect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm basically gonna create a new layer, but this time I want to go for a blowing snow effect. So on the floor around the front of the car, as if there's a bit of snow flying at the car. So I'm just gonna take a white paintbrush and I'm gonna go right across. Perfect. And now it's the same steps. So we're going to go into filter and we're going to go down to noise, add noise, same thing, click OK, and then go back into filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I'm going to turn up the blur quite a bit on this one. Only reason being is that it is moving and I don't want too much sharpness there. So we're gonna go back into filter, blur, and we're gonna add a motion blur, but this time we're gonna change the angle and I'm gonna have it probably a bit more horizontal. So probably something like that. And then I'm gonna turn it up. Probably there. Now this is very subjective. It's all entirely up to you how fast or how much you'd like, but I'll probably maybe I'll turn it down. Yeah, perfect. Hit OK, and then we go back into image, adjust, levels. I'm gonna pull the blacks to the right, and this time I won't go that far to the right. Maybe pull it a bit more to the left. There you go, something like that. Hit OK, and then change it to screen. Now when I zoom in, you'll notice, you see at the front there, just it makes it more realistic. And you can also use a similar technique to create fog in your pictures. Now I did want to add fog to this just because the color of the car was so nice and I felt like the tree in the back was just taking away from the actual car. So I'm just gonna speed this up. It's the same thing. Add noise. I only added a little bit of noise just to give it some weight, but the Gaussian blur is like cranked up all the way, right? It definitely, Gaussian blur always helps with fog. And then I'm actually gonna not do the last two steps, and I think I'm pretty happy with it. I just gotta crop out the car and make sure the fog isn't covering the car. So I'm gonna quickly do that. So these 7 or 8 steps can be used in so many ways. It doesn't have to be snow. It can add a lot of weight to something that's white. Like by adding noise, you're giving it more of a dynamic effect, right? So you actually give it some sort of solid form. That's, in my opinion, that's how noise works for me, and I use it quite a bit in my pictures. So that's pretty much it, you guys. That's the final image. So it was 2 layers of the snow overlay, then the blowing snow, and then the fog, all using a similar technique. And man, I'm in love with this color. It is absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, you guys, a lot of these steps are super subjective. Like I'm doing what I feel is right. But once you know the steps and you start playing around with the settings, you can create really, really cool effects. You can have heavy snowfall. You can have really slow snowfall. You can even add color to the snowfall. So guys, it's extremely easy. And what I'll be doing is I'll be dropping more tutorials like this one. Just simple, basic edits or overlays that can change the look of your picture and add some dynamic to your Instagram content. But thank you very much for all the support and love. And do like, subscribe, share if you can. And I'll catch you guys at the next video. Peace.